Now, as legacies go, it is not a bad one, and what is now the Principality Stadium will forever be exactly that for Glanmor Griffiths, the former chairman of the WRU, who's died at the age of 83. The man known simply as Glanmor among Welsh rugby fans drove through what was then one of the biggest engineering projects in Western Europe. Under intense pressure, he ensured the Millennium Stadium was built on time and on budget for the Rugby World Cup in Cardiff in 1999, a job many thought could not be done. But it was done, and the stadium has become an iconic part of Wales ever since. Jordan Davis reports.
He was a visionary but controversial character, a giant of the game in Wales who delivered this, the Millennium Stadium, then the largest construction project in Europe. It would go on to become the crucible of our national game and part of our national identity. This is Glanmor Griffiths speaking to Wales Today in 2019.
Was there ever a moment where you thought, Glanmor, you weren't going to do it?
No, I knew that we could do it. With such a fine project team, we had one objective, the whole of the project team, every man and woman that worked on the stadium had one objective, to get that stadium ready for the 1st of October 1999.
And you had a lot of critics at the time. Don't need me to remind you of that.
I had critics and doubters in their thousand, right from the outset. I wouldn't be able to build the stadium on time. I wouldn't be able to build it for £99 million. But we did it. And the only way to silence those critics and doubters was to build the stadium on time.
He was born in Bridgend in 1939, the third of 7 children. After a career at the Midland Bank, he diverted all of his energy into Welsh rugby, becoming the treasurer, chairman and president of the WRU. Viewed as a skilled negotiator and shrewd financial operator, he brought the stadium to Wales on time and on budget, confounding what he called the doubting Thomases. But his tenure at the top wasn't without controversy. He became embroiled in disputes with fellow officials and with leading clubs in Wales. He was seen as a key figure in blocking high-profile recommendations that many believed would have professionalised Welsh rugby much sooner.
I guess it's quite relevant and appropriate that we're talking about Glanmor's passing during what is another Rugby World Cup. Because he was certainly instrumental in helping Wales make a success of it. But yes, he wasn't without his critics. The bigger clubs certainly would have wanted more of the money that was coming into the game. He was determined in ensuring that there was a fair spread of the funding across the whole game.
This is Glanmor Griffiths' legacy, a stadium built to host an iconic World Cup that would help transform the fortunes of the national game and provide a cornerstone for the fabric of Welsh life.
Jordan Davis reporting on the death of Glanmor Griffiths. Well, the rugby writer Peter Jackson is with me now. Peter, take us back. Would that stadium have been built without him?
No, I don't think it would. And first of all, I'd like to extend my sincere condolences to Glanmor's family on their grievous loss. No, I don't think it would have been built without him. The phenomenal thing about the Millennium Stadium was not simply its creation, but that Glanmor had the vision to recognise that the Arms Park, the most revered stadium in world rugby, was commercially no longer fit for purpose. It wasn't big enough. They didn't have the corporate entertainment facilities which had become essential to the professional game. So he then, the first monumental achievement was to convince the clubs that this great place had to be knocked down and it would be replaced by a bigger stadium that would earn more money for the union. And I can remember standing in what looked like a bomb site, and this was about April 1999, and the World Cup was less than 6 months away, and Glanmor's there in his hard hat. I said, how on earth are you going to convert this into a rugby stadium for the World Cup? He said, don't worry, we'll do it. But others within the game doubted that, to the extent that World Rugby, the organisers of the tournament, drew up a contingency plan, and that contingency plan was the opening game. Wales-Argentina was going to be played at Wembley.
Yeah, I remember that bulletproof confidence, and it's easy to forget how much pressure he was under. You obviously knew him well. How did he operate?
Oh, he was a master politician, Glanmor. He spent a lot of time talking to the clubs. He was always a club man. He needed their support. He also, he had vision. to see that these things had to be changed. And he also, I mean, once he created the stadium, I mean, it is the only capital city stadium smack bang in the middle of the city. And that's what makes it unique. And you're also close to the action. It's absolutely a monumental achievement. And, you know, I can't think of anybody who can say, well, what's your legacy? And he could say, my legacy is that I've left a place so monumental that 75,000 people go there about 6 or 8 times a year, and they sing and shout their heads off, and that's what I've left. And how good is that, you know? And he also convinced the Football Association, while Wembley was being reconstructed, to bring the FA Cup finals here. At another point, Nick, about the cost. I mean, the Millennium Stadium was built for a snip at 126 million. Wembley cost 6 times that amount.
Indeed, so many elements to that story. Peter, wonderful words. Thank you very much indeed for your memories there of Glanmor Griffiths.